Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to make the left-hand bat here controllable by the player. So to do that, if we go to Game View here, Game View is receiving on touch events, and we are returning true, and returning true has the effect that if you receive a touch event, like I think it's called a down event or a press event, I can't quite remember, then you will then receive kind of drag events or motion events, and if you return false, then you'd still kind of receive the down event, but you wouldn't receive the drag events following that. So you have to return true to say that you've handled the event. And I want to pass these events onto the game, so I probably just want to say something like game dot on touch event and just pass this straight through, pass the event straight through. So let's just write that, and I'll click this and create the method in the game. So now we've got an on touch event in the game, and now I want to handle this by saying, well, you see there are various different kinds of events. I could say something like event.get, I think it's get action, and I could say if that is equal to motion event dot action down, for example, or if it's equal to action move and that sort of thing. I could take different events depending on whether the user is moving their finger around, or they've just pressed it down, or they've just released their finger. Probably there's an action up, is there? Yeah, I think so. But I don't think I'm going to need to use these here, because in this game, if the user touches the screen and moves their finger, or it doesn't really matter, I just want to move the bat to the corresponding vertical position. So I don't really need to differentiate between these different kinds of events. So probably all I need to do is say something like player, which is the player's bat, dot set position, and I haven't created this method yet, but I will. And I can pass in event dot get x and event dot get. Actually, I don't need event dot get. I don't need event dot get x, because I'm not going to move the bats horizontally. I'm only going to move them. Just take a look at the screencast here. I'm just going to move them up and down, and you can make the handling of these bats a lot nicer than I'm going to, but I'm just going to show you something really simple just to kind of get this implemented and working. So you could, for example, check when the user touches the screen, you could check have they actually touched the bat, and if so, you could note where they touch the bat, and then if they move their finger, you could allow them to basically drag the bat via the point that they've actually touched. Or you could do something like what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the center of the bat immediately to wherever they've touched on the screen vertically, and not worry about making it nice, So I'll click this error, and we'll go to create method set position in type bat, and this has got to set the vertical position of the bat. And to do that, I'm just going to say set y, and I'll pass in y and subtract once again get rect dot center y, so that we move the center of the bat to the point that the player touched, rather than moving the top left hand edge rather than moving the top of the bat to the point that the player touched, which would look quite rubbish. With the other bat, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, because I'm going to have the computer control it, but I've got a very simple algorithm that I've been playing around with, and we're just going to implement that to try to make the game look playable and look like the computer's controlling it in something vaguely resembling a sensible manner. So here we are, and now if I touch the screen on my phone, I'm moving the bat to where I touch it. Actually, I can touch anywhere on the screen, because I haven't checked that the point that I've touched is actually on the bat. So I just touch the screen in some position that I want to move the bat to, and the bat moves there. It looks horribly jerky on the screencast, but on my phone it's nice and responsive. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial we'll put some intelligence into the opponent bat. So join me again then, and until next time, happy coding.